And hello and welcome to the OB Builders Cup Series live from virtual Darlington Raceway for the Ryco 325. I'm Sheldon Atkins, joined in the booth by Taylor Burris as well as Austin Derbyshire down in our production truck. And Taylor, how excited are you about this, man? The Lady in Black, one of the most iconic tracks on the NASCAR circuit. Talk me through it.
Well, of course, this 1.3 mile circuit, I gotta say, I have my best tux on. I got my black tie ready to go as we're about to go dancing here with the Lady in Black, NASCAR's oldest speedway on the NASCAR circuit since 1950. This track has been home to some of the most exciting racing throughout the decades of motorsports, where we know for a fact drivers are going to have to learn to not step on any toes, make sure you work your way around and not have any issues at the end of the night, because if you do, well, let's just say it's going to be one bad night for you here as we take a look at the championship standings.
As we take a look at the points right now, Sean Conklin leading Justin Levine by 193 points, sitting there in third place pretty well, firmly. 121 points back is Brandon Pasolak with Patrick Gitter 90 points back in fourth over Derek Heitman in fifth place. And you were talking about stepping on toes, man. I'll tell you what, I'm kind of nervous and curious to see what we're going to have on track here this evening. You know, last night in NIS, a lot of these guys go at it with each other week in and week out. And it seemed like the short track tempers, the sparks started to fly a little bit. So I'm definitely concerned to see how this thing's going to turn out. But I want to head over to you, Taylor, with the keys to the race.
Absolutely. Well, since we're about to go out on a nice dance here with the Lady in Black, it's time to put your dancing shoes on. Be prepared to change them out also every so often, because the dancing can get hot, heavy, and heated with how these tires are going to suffer throughout the entire transition of today's race. And of course, another thing, normally as the guy, when you're dancing with your partner, you're the one who's leading, not here at Darlington. In fact, you're going to be the one who's going to be led around this entire track. It is you versus the track. Forget every other competitor that's out there. It's you against her in order to survive here at Darlington. And we have a little special deal here going on. Some of our drivers out here are looking forward to showcasing and representing their favorite college or professional NFL teams here today. And so, in the spirit of football, don't be afraid to call an audible. Be prepared to make changes, make split-second decisions in order to come out on top and hopefully take home a nice win here at the Lady in Black.
And speaking of calling an audible, as we get to the broadcast picks, I'm going to have to go with the Carolina Panthers machine here this evening. I'm going to have to go with that 43 of Chris Hudson. Every time we come to these tracks where it comes down to tire management and saving, I see that 43 work himself up into the picture, into the closing stages. I feel like tonight's going to be no different. In fact, maybe even more pronounced with how abrasive this surface can be. What about you, Taylor?
I'm going to go with someone who has quite a bit of speed. He had a good run in practice, looking to try to do so here in quali. I'm going to go with Keegan Sabila right there at the top 5 run for him.
And down in the production truck, it looks like Derbyshire's gonna pick.
Drum roll, please.
Yeah, we don't have a drum roll. Well, Derbyshire's pick is Gulata, even though we don't have the picture on there. So maybe he's going to dodge the commentator curse here tonight. And it looks like Kieran may have stepped on a couple buttons, but we're going to keep it rolling here, man. And, you know, the thing that I love about this track is there's a little bit of something for everybody here. The cool thing about the layout, the offset layout to avoid a minnow pond that we went with here at Darlington. Turn 1 and 2, man, you ramp it in there, you send it till you just about see Jesus and the rest of your ancestors. And you come down to turn 3, you back it down like you're at, you know, a short track, like a New Hampshire or Milwaukee, and you just try to straddle the seam, be as minimal on your inputs as possible, and just wait on it. It gives you opportunity for a lot of chaotic moments, because on top of doing all this, you're dealing with a track width that's, you can just about barely fit 2 cars side by side. And these guys, they're going to be trying to push it 3. It's definitely a place where tempers can start flying, and a lot of friction can be had here.
Absolutely. A lot of angry drivers could come out here at the end of the night's race, but hopefully tempers will be calm, and hopefully everyone will have a good time with their dance partners here as they get set for our starting lineup on today's action.
And starting on the pole here this evening is going to be that 21 machine of Patrick Gitter with Sean Conklin to the outside in second. Third place going to be Roger Pierce with Matt DeCiani to the outside in fourth. Fifth place going to be Keegan Sabila with Paul Bergoli starting sixth. Starting seventh, going to be Reese Ironman Schaefer with Austin Edstrom to his outside. Starting ninth place, going to be Chris Crosby, and running out the top 10, going to be Adam Benefiel.
Moving on into row number 6 from Charlotte, North Carolina, Brandon Pascalacqua with Randy Mullins from Mount Pleasant, followed by Paul Hill from Jacksonville, Florida, and Nicholas Isaac in 14th. 15th will be Bryce Reiner, followed by Ralph Hutchinson in 16th. 17th and 18th will be Daniel Wiles from Lewisburg, North Carolina, and from Harmony, Minnesota, representing the Vikings, it will be the driver of Josh Schaffner. Joseph Ghazi from Miami, Florida, with Tim Wortman from Clinton, Indiana. And then rounding out your top 20 is going to be Jeffrey Taylor and Chris Vincent.
And starting us off here in, got a little bit of a snafu on the grid here, but starting off 21st is going to be Jeffrey Taylor with Chris Vincent in 22nd. 23rd is going to be Thomas O'Hara with Chad Kibbe in 24th. 25th place is going to be Jose Medina with Joseph Gulata starting 26th. 27th position going to be Justin Levine with Lou Christian to his outside in 28th. And rounding it out, we've gone green. And down into turn 1 to the inside line, Patrick Gitter going to try and get the advantage on Sean Conklin, but Conklin's going to fight hard with the outside lane to try and get by him. And Gitter gets around, and Conklin just about loses it. Both drivers save it, but that opens the door for Keegan Sabilo. Roger Pierce to jump down to the bottom and take the lead.
How about that brave and heroic move right there we saw from your top 2, and of course for them, they're going to fall right down the running order as Roger Pierce now tries to beat the rabbit and pull away here. Looks like that dog just got a bone and he's looking to try to run off with it.
And rough break to start this thing off. Looking at Conklin's car right now, the right rear quarter panel folded not substantially, but that, every little bit of damage on that right side makes a huge difference in the amount of side force and downforce these cars can generate. Hopefully it's not going to be too bad for the 10 machine. It's definitely something that's not going to take a whole lot of time to fix, but if he doesn't get a caution here fairly soon, it's going to be a pretty negative scenario for the 10.
Absolutely, I have to say right there for us, as we watch the battle further on down the field, Patrick Gitter has to now climb his way around Austin Edstrom for 7th place. He'll look to the inside and take the pass complete right there, Sheldon, as they come off of turn 2.
Yeah, Patrick Gitter gets a good run through 1 and 2. Going to clear up on Edstrom. Edstrom, speed patient here. It's his method when we come to Darlington. But up at the front of the pack right now, Roger Pierce starting to run away with a decent advantage up to his second now over second place Sean Conklin. And Pierce, one of the drivers with the NFL paint schemes on the grid here this evening. Looking pretty good out there.
Yeah, representing the Cleveland Browns as we ride on board with him as they work their way into turn 3 and 4. I have to say, we do have some of our drivers representing their favorite colleges or professional football teams here tonight. So we'll try to pick out the best ones as our competitors will continue to log laps as we watch Keegan Sabila trying to chase down Sean Conklin. This is a great time for him to try and make up time and move up into second place, put basically Conklin in a bind in a sense because of the damage that he has, but he's got to worry about Matt DeCiani right there representing Illinois University.
Right now, Gitter in the App State Mountaineers machine diving down to the inside of Reese Schaefer here into 3 and 4. Schaefer going to stay up against the outside line and let the 21 machine go. Gitter definitely determined to get back up here to the front of the pack after breaking traction through 1 and 2 on the initial start on those cold tires. Doesn't want to seal the deal and wind up where he is right now.
Single file right now as they work their way around the circuit. Everyone's just now going to bide their time here and get themselves situated. We got a long race, 240 laps here around the Lady in Black, and we have to be careful of taking care of those equipment. We will see some drivers try to stretch it out till they have to make a pit stop for fuel, but I know for a fact most of these drivers are probably going to be coming down pit road as early as possible. Probably around lap 30 to 40 is when we'll start really seeing them making that decision on coming down pit road. As one car hits the outside wall off turn number 2. That is one of the Team Conti machines. Trying to get the number off of that one. My feeling it was the 41 of Bryce Reiner who had a hard hit.
And you're going to see a lot of that here. It gets really dicey coming off of turn 2. You carry so much momentum, so much speed when you go up the hill into 1. And if you don't back it up in the center of the corner absolutely perfect and get the weight transferred to the nose properly, that thing will absolutely bite and hook you up into the fence. And you do it enough times in a row, and then you're pretty much going to be on skis on the front tires all the way through the corner.
Couple little bit side-by-side action behind the driver of Reiner. That was Tim Wortman Jr., Chris Vincent, and Jeffrey Taylor all jockeying around for position as they're going to go 2 wide, 2 by 2, heading down into turn number 1. Wortman Jr. had that bobble that allows the 45 machine of Chad Kibbe to pick up a spot to get around him. Kibbe representing the Detroit Lions right there ahead, and then you have the Minnesota Vikings behind of Josh Schaffner as they work their way through down into 3 and 4. Everyone just now single file, waiting to see if a driver in front of them makes the mistake that they need in order to set up for a pass. No one really pushing the envelope here. Quite a bit of racing still as we have approached 10 laps complete.
Back kind of losing a handful of spots here. Looks like he's trying to save some tires pretty early in this race. The 9 machine of Chris Crosby lost 2 spots there that last lap, one to Ralph Hutchison and another to Nicholas Isaacs. So Crosby going for the long con here at Darlington to try and see if it'll pay off for him.
Absolutely. As we go up a little bit further up the field, there you see Crosby leading that charge, but here comes down to the inside Paul Hill. He'll show the nose in that number 26 and complete the pass as, big trouble right there for Crosby. He got a little bit too tight right there, lost the car, hit the outside wall, and Joseph Kazi nearly got collected up in it.
Yeah, 1 and 2, that's a corner you absolutely do not want somebody getting down to your bottom, because it can put you in, as not just a bad situation with the line that you have to take to make it through the corner without taking yourselves out, but it also throws you in a pretty gnarly aero position, because all the car wants to do when somebody gets to your bottom here is send straight up to the outside fence. As you see now, the 98 machine of Gulata diving it down to the bottom here through 1 and 2, and Crosby just letting these guys go by, knowing that if he goes out here and sends it, he's probably going to be hurting himself in the long run, just trying to be good when it matters.
Absolutely, and that's so critical here. Sometimes it's best not to try to fight it. Just let the car come to you a little bit later on in the run. And for a track here as Darlington, you want to probably have a little bit better handling car at the end when those tires are not at their full grip level. You want to make sure you can be able to maintain and gain position, because if you let some of these drivers go who have those early onset speed, you're going to make quick work of them at the end of your run.
Now, I was concerned I had the red flags out for Sean Conklin after that incident with the outside wall at the start of this thing. But he's moving in, working his way back up to the rear bumper of the 27 machine of Pierce. I mean, obviously right now, Conklin kind of mired in the dirty air off of the back of the 27 machine. But I figured that the pace would be hurt a little bit in that 10 machine. It's obviously not.
He's kind of basically plateaued. He's making a little bit of ground here or there right now. He's about half a second behind your race leader, but just kind of, like you said, dealing with that dirty air. He's in that bubble where he needs to just find his way to pop it and get the run he needs to go and chase down Roger Pierce. As they come across the line last time by, he was over a tenth faster than your race leader of Roger Pierce, and he is looking to try to see if he can close that gap further as they come out. Keegan Sabila right there as well. He's starting to fall off the pace, but here comes Conklin with a head of steam down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise to me, though, to see Conklin out here with a little bit of a damaged car still making pace. I mean, hell, how many times have we gone to road course, seen him blow the entire front end off the car, knock the toe angle about as far out as you possibly can, and Sam Hornish crab walk the thing around the track and still win.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we have seen that happen, so I have a feeling that we could see some of these cars that get beaten and banged up, that are durable, still be out here and be somewhat competitive.
Also, how about Sabilo? I don't think he's turned a single lap this week, sitting there in the third spot early on here at Darlington. Doing a good job just maintaining the tires, trying to maintain a gap here to these leaders. But, I mean, heck, you're behind Roger Pierce and Sean Conklin. First start this week, running third. Not a bad place to be.
No, not a bad place to be at all for Sheldon as we watch him work his way through. Currently still sitting around a second and a half behind, but pulling away a little bit from Patrick Gitter and just kind of maintaining the gap, not pushing the envelope a little bit, just trying to conserve those tires and hope that he can maybe try and make a charge here at the end of this tire run.
As we look now, the gap closing significantly now. Roger Pierce with a mirror full of Victory One blue, as Sean Conklin has just evaporated the lead that Pierce had built up here in the early laps. Conklin all up to the back bumper here down the back straightaway. Another couple corners like this. No, heck, he's going to go for it now. Dives down to the bottom here through 3 and 4. Pierce going to let him have it here. Knows that he's not going to be able to hold that 10 machine at bay for much longer. Going to fall back in second place without these two losing too much time. A real clean sweep here for Sean Conklin to take the lead.
Beautiful textbook pass we saw right there. Just showed the nose to the inside, made it work, and now let's see how much of a gap he can pull over his Ryko teammate of Roger Pierce as they work their way down the back straightaway. Currently, right now, looking through to see if there's anything else happening on the track, but for Sean Conklin, pretty much picking up where he left off on Wednesday as he looks to try and find a way to continue with his streak of dominance that he's had this season here in the OB Builders Cup Series.
And Sean absolutely was one of the fastest cars last night. Bit of trouble, took it away. Rough night, tempers flare, but it looks like he's just trying to log off a nice, clean, quick race here as we got a pass happening right now a little bit further back. Crosby with the machine diving down to the bottom of him here through 1 and 2, going to lose a spot. And here comes Levine looking to the inside as well down the back stretch.
Justin's been on a little bit of a run right now as he's trying to pick up a couple of spots. He's currently inside the top 20 as he's trying to pick up a couple of more, but after starting outside the top 20 and now working his way further, he is looking to try to see if he can just take care of those tires, keep on picking them off one by one, and so far his lap times, by looking over him, are pretty consistent as far as for those just up ahead of him.
Look at Paul Bergola right now on a good run, sitting here in 6th place. Right in front of the Rocket Man himself, Austin Edstrom. Bergola's been putting together some really good runs here the past couple weeks as well. Looked like he had something really good last night, and attrition kind of took him out of it. As on Joseph Gulata now going to the outside here through 3 and 4 to try and get past the 26th machine of Paul Hill. Paul not going to try and contest with him too much here. You see Gulata now dive down to the inside to try and take over another spot. And takes that pretty simply. The hard charge of the night so far going to be that 98 machine of Gulata up. What was it, 16 spots you said there, Darby? 14 spots.
Close call right there for a couple of other drivers as Gulata did tap the wall just barely as it came off the corner exit there of turn 2, but now has gathered himself back up, looking to try to make a run as we watch the battle between Bergoli along with our Rocket Man himself, Austin Edstrom. Reese Schaefer also coming into the picture here, looking to have a good, strong night here after what I remember last time we were out over in Richmond, putting on a stellar drive there.
Yeah, Reese definitely does good on these tracks where they kind of have that short track characteristic and just the ability to save heavy on the tires and be fast at the end. And we saw that at Richmond. We've seen it from him at Bristol in the past too, and it's looked like it's been translating pretty well for him this week here at Darlington. Good second place finish earlier in NIS this afternoon for Reese Schaefer.
So far, a little tap of the wall there from Pascalacqua as he tries to gather it back up. He will continue on his way. Same thing with Daniel Wiles as you ride on board with Brandon Pascalacqua. As he tries to just take care of those tires. You see here.
Oh, loose in front of him, though.
Yeah, that was big time loose for Austin, for Joseph Causey.
That's
going to
Causey.
allow him. Yep, Causey's going to now lose a spot. And he will now move up that position. Beautiful pass. Even going a little below that white line there. We'll see a couple of cars there try to use that to get some extra grip, to try to wash up the track a little bit, but not try to hit that wall. Big time help right there from him as he gathers it back up as he got a little loose off turn 2.
Causey just about screwed it in the DeWalt machine there, but does a good job saving it. Getting loose like that through 1 and 2, man. It gets nervous real quick. But Pascalacqua, that's another one of those cars that, I harp about it week in and week out. When we come to these tracks, same thing I just did with Schaefer. That's another guy that's just really good about creeping around here the first few stages of the race. And at the end, he's right there in the picture.
He certainly is, so we'll keep an eye and see what he can do here by the time we get to the end of the night as we pick up the 33 of Chris Vincent along with Chris Crosby. The two Chris's will work their way around the circuit here so far, just kind of logging their laps here, not trying to push the envelope whatsoever. Still got quite a bit of racing left to go as we go further back to one of the Miami Dolphin paint schemes of Paul Gallimore, the number 17 machine. As we go back up to Keegan Sabila. Gallimore looks to the inside right here with a good pass to the inside of Chad Kibbe.
Kibbe's going to hang up on that outside line, try and hold him at bay here, trying to hold him off to hold on to that position. Gallimore's going to get loose coming off the corner, not trying to put Kibbe up into the outside fence. It's really tight coming off the corners, but Kibbe's going to let him have it in 1 and 2. Knows that he's not going to be able to contest on that outside line against that hard charging 17 machine.
Great drive right there from both competitors of heads-up racing, knowing, hey, we still got quite a bit of racing. Go ahead and give you that spot for now, and I'll maybe catch you here in the next 10 to 20 laps here as we progress further into this run. Drivers now have fallen off about a second off the pace, if not more, compared to when we started the action as we go back up to Reese Schaefer up there with Gulata and Paul Pergoli. It's the battle for P7 here around the track.
Got a lot of race here. That is probably the understatement of the week. 211 laps still remaining in this bad boy. This is a long stint marathon here for the OB Burst Cup Series, but also touted as one of their crown jewel events. Everybody loves Darlington, and if you can hang on and be fast here for 240 miles at this place, you're definitely deserved to finish where you finish, that's for sure. As we see the 6th machine of Pascalacqua now taking a peek to the inside here on the back straightaway.
Everyone talks about... Go ahead.
And he's going to take the spot away from the 8 machine here through 3 and 4. Pascalacqua working to the front here.
He's running some pretty decent lap times right now, staying consistent with some of our competitors up towards the front of the field as we go back up to Roger Pearson, Sean Conklin, and Sabila as they work their way around the circuit here. No pressure. Just, I think right now these 3 drivers are just settled in, realizing we still have pit stops ahead as we pick up the pole sitter of Patrick Gitter as we watch the battle between Edstrom and Matt DiCiani as Edstrom, Rocket Man himself, gets another spot.
And Gitter doing a really good job, especially after the huge slide on the opening lap. But Edstrom going to have to work for it here because DiCiani's picking up the pace here as we get into the closing stages here in this first set of tires. 33 laps in, this is when it starts to get a little froggy for these guys. And, I can tell you one thing, self-spins are certainly imminent because they've been getting some of the best here this week at Darlington.
Especially off of turn 3, we're going to see some drivers really have, or off turn 4, we're going to see some drivers really struggle, especially when you tap that wall while you enter 3. And then, of course, the drivers are going to have to try to regain control of their car. And then right here off turn 2, we see drivers struggling because of that little indentation right there. When you come off turn 2, that could really mess up that side of your race car, passenger side of your race car, pretty good. So you got to be careful with how far you want to try to hug that wall, as we see a pass for position as DeCiani is starting to fall off the pace here as Gulata gets around him for the 6th spot.
I will say that indentation out of turn 2, significantly better than what it was when you and I first started here on the sim. Because you remember how it used to just ramp and jut out into the middle of the lane when they first put the safer barriers down here at Darlington.
Oh, yeah, it was absolutely one of the most difficult tracks to try to get around when it came to before they refreshed and rescanned this track here to be able to have to come off of turn 2. And just there you see this part of the safer barrier jutted out right in front of you where it looked like it would take your nose clean off. So great to see iRacing work so hard to rescan this track a little bit, give us a nice refresh to where we can actually see the line and not die off turn 2.
They have fixed the artwork and they have fixed the wall. I don't think they've got a total rescan of the place yet, though. Am I correct? Because we don't have the grip patch, and the surface still feels exactly like it did when they repaved in 08.
Yeah, it is. It's just the artwork is the biggest thing here that they fixed. Of course, several tracks that we're going to be seeing here in the next iRacing build are complete and total rescans and art refreshes. One of them, I think a lot of us are looking forward to, North Wilkesboro getting the full rescan, as well as also night lighting.
We finally get a good short track added to the NIS schedule, and I am so excited. And also, it's not just the standard North Wilkesboro layout that we were used to for so many years. It's not what we had in 96, man. We got the progressive banking variable from the bottom to the top. That's going to add, because there's one thing iRacing does really well. It says variable banking tracks. Look at Kansas as we see Pierce tagging the fence out of turn 2.
Ooh, that's going to be a little bit of issues here. And with that, that's going to cost him some time. He's now 2 seconds back from your race leader of Sean Conklin, and starting to maybe fall into the clutches of Keegan as he's trying to make ground as we watch further back as Edstrom really making some runs here. He's got that car dialed up in the right way for him on these longer runs as Gitter and Gulata will battle for the 6th spot.
Edstrom does a good job there getting past for the 4th position now. Just about 2 seconds separating him from his teammate, Keegan Sabilo. I gotta say, Edstrom, that's one guy that's done a solid job on long run pace all week, but somebody that's been a lot better, though, is that 98 Machine of Gulata. Look at how much he has closed in on the front of this pack here, starting just about shotgun on the field, now up to 5th place.
A really good run right here for Gulata as he's trying to work his way further and further up the running order as he tries to chase down Austin Edstrom as he is making great pace through the corner off turn 4 and gets a great run. He's going to try to get that toe of the draft as they head down into 1. Not close enough to try to set the pass up, but he is making great headway to gain that position.
I got a feeling when Gulata gets up to the back bumper, that Stanley Tools Camry, I think Austin's going to roll over and let him have it. Because he's watched for laps that 98 machine work its way up the relative. Let's look a little bit further back at DeCiani in the middle of a battle with Bergoli and Schaefer. And I think Schaefer just tagged the wall a little bit there out of turn 4.
Looks to be the case here. Schaefer's now losing a couple of more spots, and he almost tagged the wall again as they come into 1 and 2 right here. He has to gather it back up and try to reset himself in favor as they work their way down the back straightaway. We're closing in on some much-needed temperature changes. I mean, that sun off turn 2 is definitely a difficult spot, especially when we get started on restarts and if we have another one later on. But that is definitely going to be a hindrance for some of our competitors of how to place their car in the right spot.
Shaver's starting to come alive here, though, all over the back bumper of Paul Bergoli. As we look at Paul Hill here, right behind DeCiani in the 54 machine. Schaffner. Sorry, that's Mullins in the 54.
Schaefer makes another pass down to the inside to get around Paul Bergoli. Beautiful drive right there as he will move up an extra position as we watch Mullins, DeCiani, and Paul Hill jockeying for the top 10.
It's a fun battle to watch here. 3 cars all at different points in tire wear here. Right now you see Paul Hill trying to take a peek to the inside. Get a little bit of clean air ducted on the nose of the 26 machine, but here comes Mullins with a hard charge down the back straightaway. Down to the inside of DeCiani into 3, and Mullins gonna just about clear him. Yes, he does. Mullins moving himself up into the 9th spot here, but a big wiggle on the bottom. He's going to lose all that momentum, and here comes Hill. Hill's going to tuck back in the line behind the 5 machine of DeCiani.
Ooh, it's going to get spicy, almost making contact with each other as Paul Hill now finally concedes the position away to Matt DeCiani. He'll drop back, but that opens the door for Brandon Pascalacqua to set himself up for a pass. Not going to do it here as he'll try to just settle back in. And then here come behind Adam Benefield with a tear as here comes Hill looking to the inside off turn number 4, side by side. He shows the nose, can't make it work, drops back into the line as we watch them battle it out here amongst your top 10 competitors.
Hill gets a little bit of a bobble here in the center of 1 and 2. But a huge run out of turn 2. Going to pull it back up to the rear bumper of the 5 machine of DeCiani as we run on board with Pascalacqua just a little bit behind. And Pascalacqua's just settled in right now. He's letting these guys race it out. Not trying to lose any time, make any bad moves. And Paul Hill's going to get the run through 3 and 4 and clear them down the front straightaway.
Incredible pass for position here amongst the competitors as they work their way around the circuit. As we watch on here with our competitors, Paul Hill really putting on a great drive as we go back up to Sean Conklin. He has caught the tail end of the field as they work their way around, and he is closing in after almost 50 laps.
So right here, this is where if you're Conklin, you realize I've got a 3.5 second advantage. If I need to lose a little bit of time here to be able to make sure that I can make it through safe, then I could absolutely take that. But he's got to be careful not to make any risky moves. You know, these lap cars at Darlington, we all know how bad the cars handle here when you're up at the front. They're significantly worse in the back on this age of tires. And honestly, where we're sitting in the tires right now in the fuel run, it might also be beneficial for Conklin to just duck down pit road a little bit early, move the needle.
I mean, it's a great strategy call, and it's a great way to call an audible because with that lap traffic, it's going to eat away his tires even more, and it's going to cause more problems for him. So if he comes down pit road, gets then out of that dirty air, then comes down and gets some fresh, clean air, that's going to help him quite significantly and maybe help cool off his tires also a little bit where he's not getting all of that dirty air just coming across his nose, upsetting the car with the handling. As we watch this field, the drivers of Justin Levine, who has finally caught Matt DeCiani and company. DeCiani really does not have that mid-race pace that we're expecting to see from him. He has that early race with a new fresh set of tires and dancing shoes, but he seems to be struggling right there towards the end of it.
Starting to burn them tires up ever so slightly. And that 5 machine down to the inside, though, out of turn 2. Here comes Justin Levine, takes a peek, doesn't have the momentum, going to fall back in line. And somehow Causey working his way up here into the mix as well. I mean, we saw that car just about back into the fence 20 laps ago.
Yeah, he's found a nice way to recover and just letting the car come to him again and rebuilding that trust and working his way through. And he's going to follow his teammate Justin Levine to the promised land as they work their way off turn 2 and try to chase down a top 10. Here comes Levine. He'll look to the inside of Matt DeCiani and has the room to make it stick. Beautiful pass, and how about Causey? He's just going to follow suit and move up another position for him as well.
And Causey's making the smart call of following that 19 machine here through traffic. Oh, up into the fence right in front of your race leader, Sean Conklin. And these lap cars tags down the wall. A nervous moment for the 10 machine, but doesn't lose too much time. Doesn't lose any real ground to Pierce.
That's exactly what we were afraid of, was Sean Conklin having to negotiate all this lap traffic because of just how these competitors are having to deal with it. But of course, he's got enough room to make it work, so he can take his time if he so chooses to, as he gets to the back bumper of the number 2 machine of Joshua Hyatt. Hyatt gives way as looks like Chris Hudson taps the wall coming off turn number 4. That car is definitely struggling for grip.
Yeah, it's a shame. I really expected a lot of pace out of Hudson tonight, but just looks like that car is a little bit behind the curve for what you need here at Darlington, but he's still staying in it. So still early. A lot of things can happen.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I really like what Conklin's doing right now, though, too. He's not letting himself be vulnerable and fall prey to these lappers. He's running. Once he got to him, he went up to the outside line to get the clean air, as well as make sure that he's in control of these passes. You know, it's terrifying having somebody on your outside at any point on this track once these tires start to fade and you start to get that right rear starting to burn up a little bit. Run up on the outside line allows you to stay in the throttle a little more, get a better run down the straightaway, and pretty much streamline the whole passing process.
Absolutely, and that's what we're seeing right now as Conklin goes back up to the outside lane, gets some fresh, clean air on the nose of that Toyota Camry, and then will just stay suit. He knows he is in control of how to set up this pass here, and we know the lap cars are pretty much well behaved for the most part here. As we go back further to the battle between Tim Wortman Jr. and Ralph Hutchinson, along with the driver Matt DiCianni, who is struggling out there. He is looking for a caution, or at least the opportunity to come down pit road.
Also, up at the front here, you're seeing how beneficial the clean air is. Conklin gets up to the back bumper of the 43 machine. He's absolutely stalled out now. He's stuck running the same pace as the machine of Chris Hudson, because Hudson just running his lane, and there's not many places you can go here at Darlington to get out of somebody's wake.
No, there really isn't. So it's all a matter of just how you place your car here and just try to get out of harm's way as quickly as possible. And I think Matt DiCianni is going to be that first one to blink to come down pit road.
Definitely a smart move for DiCianni. Wants to save face, come down, throw on 4 freshies. Didn't look like that car was really enjoying the long run there for him.
No, it really wasn't. In fact, he was probably dealing with the most struggles as far as with his setup and his placement of the car. Definitely going to have to come back and try to figure out what he's doing wrong.
A little bit further back, you see the 27 machine of Roger Pierce working his way past some lap traffic himself. The 18 machine going to fall in line, give him plenty of room down the back straightaway. And down to the inside, Sean Conklin is going to clear the 43 machine of Chris Hudson through 1 and 2. Hudson realized he was holding him up. Correct throttle coming into 1, let him have it.
Here comes Joseph Gulata. He's looking to have a chance at the top 3 as he has caught up to Keegan Sabilo for a chance of it. Taps the wall off turn number 2 and trying to see if he can show the nose. How about also Austin Edstrom right there in the hunt as well, as here comes Paul Bergoli to come down pit road. So pit stop starting to happen for the back half of your field. The question is going to be, when will we see our leaders? As here comes Gulata. He's going to look to the inside. Does he try to send it in? No, Keegan sends it in deeper and is able to hold on, but taps the wall at a Darlington stripe. He's going to lose that spot and gives way to Joseph Gulata.
Keegan gets it stuck in the outside fence there. And look who has worked his way into the picture. Mr. Rocket Man himself, Austin Edstrom, up to 5th place. And just a couple car links off the rear bumper of that Mack Tools Camry of Keegan Sabilo. Gitter bringing it down pit road, your pole sitter.
Patrick Gitter is also going to come down. I think also Adam Benefield is coming down pit road. Nicholas Isaac. So starting to get now the mid-pack coming down pit road. Chad Kibbe and company. So this is going to be critical to see how we can compare the lap times for our competitors, as the 41 machine of Bryce Reiner and the 45 come down pit road.
Here's definitely going to be a good one to get the pace off of as well. You know, we saw that he, started this thing off on the pole, so he's got a good, launch at least here. Look at Joseph Gulata sitting 3rd place right now, 7.5 seconds back, starting to close the advantage now. But definitely too little too late here on this stint in the tires. If I was any of these guys sitting, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, I'd be coming now.
I would too, because right now those tires are absolutely screaming to come down and get some fresh tires on. I know they want to try to stretch it as long as they can in order to try to just conserve and save an extra set of tires in case we get a late race caution, but things can change. You got to be prepared for this, and this could be a great opportunity for someone to maybe undercut the competition a little bit.
Also, Conklin just got passed by Paul Bergoli, who just unlapped himself on his fresh set of Goodyear Eagles. Bergoli ran a 29.3 last lap. Conklin, a second off of that, a 33.
Conklin still holding strong here as he works his way around some more lap traffic. Has penalty given out to Joshua Hyatt. Too fast by the looks of it. Too fast exiting pit road by the looks of things. So tough break for him as he's going to go a couple more laps down.
Yeah, it's a difficult break here at Darlington. Was it an entry or an exiting?
I think it was exiting.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible. Because you see where that pit lane entrance is there, folks at home. As Roger Pierce, first of your top 5 to come down pit road, second place. Bringing it down for 4 freshies and some Sunoco race fuel. And we see DeCiani working to unlap himself now from the 10 machine of Conklin onto the back bumper out of turn 2, diving down to the inside. And see DeCiani giving him plenty of room here as he tries to unlap himself. Doesn't want to throw a mistake here and get these two in trouble. I see a whole bunch of smoke coming off pit road. I can only assume that is Joseph Causey that came in.
Now the question is going to be, when does Sean Conklin decide to come down pit road as Keegan Sabila? As here comes Joseph Gulata, looking to come down pit road to get some 4 fresh tires. And now Conklin, does he decide to come down pit road this time? He's slowing. Yes, on lap 67, he will come down pit road to service those tires. And now we wait for what Sobilo and Edstrom and Reese Schaefer decide to do, as Keegan has decided also to come down pit road. That leaves Edstrom as your new race leader.
Look at that. The Rocket Man getting a little bit of TV time here. Since somebody's been in position to win a lot of A-Opens this week, been competitive in the NISs. And look at that. He's got a visor on, so we don't have to worry about seeing him not blink around this speedway. Some of our other drivers who, run the clear ones and scare the hell out of us every time we put the camera on.
Right now, the time right now is just about almost a little after 9 o'clock, I would have to say. No, actually, my bad. 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock. So a lot of things
Talking about time for, fellas?
What's that?
What are we talking about time for?
We were just talking about how the track is going to be changing quite a bit here between now and we get to the end of this race, especially with how the race officials have set this session up where the time is basically going faster by double. As here comes Edstrom sending it all the way back as he comes down pit road.
Yeah, this thing will be finishing in the middle of the night here.
Gulata also black flag penalty for exiting off pit road.
It's a costly mistake for Gulata. And a shame, too, because you saw how much pace that 98 machine had working his way from the tail end of the field. We see Justin Levine dive down in the 19 Camry. Chris Crosby as well, going to bring Paradigm Chevrolet down for 4 tires and fuel. You look at Brandon Pasalacqua, work that 6 OB Builders Chevy back out here onto the speedway. And I'll tell you what, I liked his original paint scheme this year, but I really like the new paint for Brandon. This car just looks clean.
Very clean indeed. As we go up to another, I have to say, popular paint scheme, that number 97 of Reese Schaefer. And then you see the 25 machine of Greg Carr. And up ahead of him is Paul Gallimore, and representing the 2 Miami Dolphin paint schemes. One from the current age and one from the years past. I have to say, really nice paint scheme for both of them. As Levine also gets a penalty. Too fast exiting off pit road.
We're kind of in a midsection here. And we've been talking about all these NFL paint schemes this evening. A lot of hype around it. Who's your pick right now?
I had to go, even though I am a Buccaneers fan, I had to go with Paul Gallimore and his Miami Dolphins.
I think Gallimore's Dolphin scheme looks good. How about you, Darby? What are you thinking? Darby says Gallimore's pretty high up on the list. Now, as much as I'd like to make it a three-piece here, though, I do think the car looks great. I gotta go with Pierce, man. That brown scheme it looks good. It's in the Ryko style. It looks like one of the Victory One cars, hands down. But there's enough nuance, enough difference made to it that I really have to go with Roger Pierce.
Looks like to be the only thing. The only time the Browns will win this season.
No, I'm just going off paint scheme alone. No skin in the game here for me. Nobody decided they wanted to run a Washington paint scheme. I know it's pretty embarrassing picking a losing team all the time, but hey, we go for the underdogs around here. And that's as close to home as it gets for me. Between the losing in the region, that is.
Speaking of another team, it looks like Chris Vincent's coming down with the San Francisco 49ers. And a couple more drivers. Like, we got a
Reese Schaefer and Randy Mullins coming down.
Randy Mullins representing the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
That was pretty high up on the list too. A gold race car is just a clean look. You don't get to see that often anymore.
Absolutely, have to agree with you on that. As here comes Paul Bergoli making a pass down, trying to get around some competitors.
Getting a lap back there. Bergoli, came down pit. Davis is not yet. And Davis really needs to get that thing down pit road here pretty quick. You see him having to hustle, get out of the way of all these cars on fresh tires. Basically getting the lap car treatment right now. As he sends it deep into turn one, and he's losing more time than he would if he just came down to pit right now.
Yeah, he has lost incredible time here. He was over 15, 20 seconds here. Now he'll come down pit road. Finally, I mean, they're staying out there as long as you can, and then they're staying out there way too long. And I think it's safe to say Chris David did do that. As we keep an eye, let's see what the gap is between Conklin and Roger Pierce now. It's looking to be right around 3 seconds.
Yeah, Pierce made up a little bit of time there with the undercut, but had to fight the older tires here as we finish this stint out. 77 laps green so far from Darlington. I mean, this is incredible right here.
Absolutely,
we're getting a master class on tire management from Sean Conklin. 78 laps now on the board. Sean Conklin firmly in the lead with a 2.5 second gap. We're going to send it away to a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be back to bring you more of the OB Builders Cup Series racing action here on the grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And welcome back to the OB Builders Cup Series, Ryko 325 from Darlington Speedway. I'm Sean Atkins, joined in the booth by Taylor Burst and Austin Derbyshire. 84 laps on the board. Sean Conklin with a 3.5-second advantage over his teammate Roger Pierce in second. Patrick Gitter sitting in third, 10 seconds back, followed by Keegan Sabilo and Austin Edstrom. Is your top five.
Really strong run, I have to say, by Keegan for making his only start so far this season as he's running inside the top five there. You see the Rocket Man right there behind him trying to make ground, and watch the Mac. Even still, though, just incredible drive that we're seeing. Normally we see Keegan just bottom top 10, top 20 for the most part, but really right here, this is one of the strongest runs I have to see to date in the OB Builders Cup Series that we've seen him.
Yeah, Keegan's one of those that runs really good. He's a short tracker by nature. A couple, a championship and some late models here and there. Got a lot of pace, a lot of talent. Really good young star in the making here on the iRacing service, and just really good at consistent, patient drives. You never see Keegan go out there and just be overzealous with the tires. Let's see him go out there and burn them off. No, he gives what the car wants to have. And that's why when we come to a track like this, he's pretty stout. Same thing for Austin back there in fifth. I mean, the same thing can be said for Sean Conklin up at the front, though. I mean, it looks like he's absolutely scorching it every lap he's on the track. But he's out there with a lot more reserve than you'd expect. It's just fast cars go fast, even when they're saving.
Yeah, absolutely. Fast cars do go fast when they're saving around here. And Sean Conklin has been the king of saving so far this race as he just continues to pick them up, put them down, and continues to try to lap the field here. Currently, he has up to 18th Daniel Wiles, the next car he's about to put a lap down. Watch his wheels right here.
Yeah, that's the secret right there. See, he's not putting a whole lot of wheel into it. Means the car is right on that edge of neutral where it needs to be. Sends it in the corner. Very light. Not a whole lot of steering input. That right there is keeping the right front tire straight. You don't see any wiggling coming off the corner, which means he's not going into oversteer. The back isn't stepping around, which means he's being just firm enough with the throttle, but on eggshells at the same time, not causing him to burn that right rear off. That right there, that's the most bobble we've seen out of that car this entire race.
That's what we've been told when it comes to racing here at Darlington. You're racing at an egg-shaped oval. You pretty much got to treat that throttle like you have an egg under it for the most part. You want to try to just manage it, not put too much pressure on it, especially off corner exit. You want to get back to the power sooner, but ooh, right there, Roger Pierce just taps the wall hard into the outside wall off turn 2. That's going to be an issue for him with the handling. But he's still able to keep pressuring on.
Yeah, right now Roger also on a little bit older tires as opposed to his Victory 1 teammate up there at the front with Sean Conklin, and just trying to maintain a gap, trying to keep Patrick Gitter at bay, trying to not lose too much ground to Sean. A win here tonight from Darlington would be absolutely huge for Roger Pierce, and honestly probably a fan favorite as well. Is Roger one of the cleaner, more calm, laid-back guys in the iRacing service. And I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing the Cleveland Browns paint scheme go to victory lane. What about you?
Might as well give him something to have a win for.
I mean, somebody's got to do something. Conklin's up here stinking up the show with that big
I
old lead.
agree. He certainly is. 4.5-second lead right now, 92 laps up on the board, and he's continuing to put more and more drivers a lap down or more.
Conklin working past the 18 machine and up into the fence for the 18 machine there, and a heavy amount of nose damage. That's the worst place to possibly have it, too, right in the center. That means that splitter is kicked way back, which means you are absolutely missing all of the front downforce that you can get. Running solo, that car probably feels like he's stuffed in dirty air.
That Raiders paint scheme is more beaten up than a night out in Las Vegas, for sure. Apparently he grabbed the wrong generation of cars paint scheme here. That looks like to be the Gen 6 paint scheme for the LA Raid, or for the Las Vegas Raiders for the most part. So got a little bit of work to do.
It might actually be the previous Mustang template too, because remember, we did go from the GT500 to the Dark Horse.
We did.
Either way, a little mismatched. Up at the front, you see Sean Conklin putting another car lap down. Was that Paul Hill he just lapped?
I believe so. Currently, right now, he is lapped up to Tim Wortman Jr. Next up is Randy Mullins.
Oh yeah, it's Wortman. Never mind. The white, black, and red. Threw me for a loop there. You look at the next car on the cutting block, 54 machine of Randy Mullins. And right in front of him, Joseph Gulata drove his way all the way up through the field, and one mistake on pit road. And until we get a caution, night basically done for the time being.
Well, at least they're still out there in contention, and unlike for a couple of drivers such as Richard Kleiman, Jeffrey Taylor, Bryce Reiner, Daniel Wiles, and Chris Crosby, they have taken it all behind the wall. Their nights are done.
How awesome is this, too? 96 laps of green flag racing from Darlington.
Yeah, please, someone knock on wood.
As we listen to our producer knock on wood violently.
Because knowing you would bring out the commentator's curse here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I can't knock on wood. The only thing that I can really do... Can't do that. I got to find it first. But the thing that I'm capable of doing is... Well, I can't find it because we're so buried here. I can't do it in this Discord. Crud, I don't have nitro. Well, we'll get the cricket instead. I was going to hit the lizard button.
Keeping an eye around here, we have Reese Schaefer, who's currently just trying to log laps here inside the top 10.
There we go.
There we go.
Needed it.
Made our night a little bit better.
And Schaefer lost a little bit of time there with the pit sequence. I mean, we saw him stay out as long as he possibly could on the tires. It's going to be interesting to see, though, what's going to win here, the undercut or just keeping the freshest tires you can on at the beginning of a run. See him down to the inside of the 43 machine. Make a quick pass here through 3 and 4 on Chris Hudson. Send it back down to 1 and 2. And looking to try and get to the back bumper of the 6 machine of Pasalaco, but he's a bit of ways out there in front.
Yeah, just a little bit. He's going to keep on plugging away as we are now down to 140 laps left to go in the race, as the drivers are just currently having a parade around the circuit here. I think it's safe to say it is race cars every which way around the circuit, and we have a continuous tram line of cars no matter where you look.
That's a tricky spot there for Passalacqua. Paul Bergoli trying to slide in the middle of 1 and 2. Passalacqua going to crack off the throttle, give his buddy a break here. Could have been a big mess. Now Passalacqua looking to the inside into 3 and 4, down on the bottom. Going to get a good clean pass here. Going to slide up in front out of turn 4. Passalacqua going to move up a spot now to 8th. But Reese Schaefer now charging hard up to the back bumper of the 12 machine of Bergoli.
Going to keep on trying to log those laps here as Bergoli tries to get a good run around Pascalaqua as he tries to get that spot. Not going to work for him. Reese Schaefer, though, with a big head of steam down the back straightaway. Can't also, I think it's just taking his time here. He'll look to the outside, get some fresh, clean air, and he gets a great run around the outside. He'll go side by side with Bergoli as we see Pascalaqua tap the wall up turn number 4 and completes the pass.
Schaefer sending it high up there against the fence, going to take the spot. Oh, and Ken in our chat saying that the brown on the Cleveland Browns machine is actually a football pigskin.
Pretty nice.
And the attention to detail, man. That's why I had to pick that one. It's a good, clean-looking car, matches the branding. It's looking pretty good there, too. Sitting second spot. 7 seconds back, though, from Sean Conklin. Conklin up here at the front of the pack decided to not decorate the house for Christmas this year as he runs the standard paint scheme we see week in and week out. The Randy Belk Construction Toyota Camry. What are you thinking at this stage of the run here, Taylor?
Well, right now it's pretty much just trying to continue to log those laps here. The track has went through a significant change. We're pretty much in almost full darkness. Sun's pretty much behind the racetrack, so that's going to help a lot with the driver's vision to get around competitors. But also those tires are going to start not going through too much issues for the most part. They're going to be a little bit cooler, a little bit more grip around the circuit as we got a penalty for Adam Benefield also, so a tough break for him once again. He can never seem to catch a break here in the OB Builders Cup Series one week or another as we watch Reese Schaefer getting around Joseph Kazi. But those tires now maybe help last a little bit longer, not too much longer, but enough to where you can maybe start taking care of that equipment a little bit better and try to have a good run.
It's working for Reese. He's just about up to where he was before he came down to pit. He was sitting around 7th spot last go, last stint. Look a little more commanding now as he gets up to the back bumper. Brandon Pascalaqua down the back straightaway, and it's only 4 seconds between him and Paul Hill. Biggest gainer on that pit sequence, though. Patrick Gitter working himself back up into 3rd place. '21 App State Chevrolet definitely looking good here from Darlington. Our producer says that the drive he's getting is getting an A grade.
Yeah, you always want to get an A. Of course, App State going up against a favorite team of Dale Earnhardt Jr. With the UNC Charlotte 49ers going head-to-head with them this Saturday.
Just going to give a shout to Lou Christian, too. Not necessarily a great night for him, but the Titans paint scheme looks pretty good on that 3 Chevrolet. Almost kind of reminds me a little bit of the Olympics paint scheme that Earnhardt had back in the day, just with the same colors.
That
Darby.
Yeah.
And Darby says that is the best paint, hands down.
I have to agree with him.
Darby's vote comes with 2 because I hear Karen in the background, and she's meowing not only for food, but also that the Titans paint scheme is her favorite as well.
It is a pretty sharp paint scheme, I will have to say.
It is definitely clean. It's seen the Dale Earnhardt 3 with flames behind it. Pretty neat.
It's like a mix of Earnhardt and Gordon combined.
Take a little moment here to just appreciate the paint on the 3 machine. Our producer is visibly moved, audibly moved even, by this. He is tearing up in the chat right now. We are listening to a grown man weep.
He's
over a
driven to
Titan Space
tears.
game. It's a transcendent, a visceral experience, the paint on this 3 machine of Blue Christian. Okay, back to the race. Sean Conklin up by 8 seconds now over Roger Pierce, trying to work through lap traffic as he gets to the back of the 2 machine. Down to the inside of Hyatt, he goes down the front straightaway, putting him another lap down. Conklin just on a tear as he carves deep through this field.
Really good run right here. We're seeing as Conklin continues to just go further and further. He's almost about to break the top 10 and put him a lap down. It's one car
hard
hits
in
the
the fence.
outside wall. That is actually the, I believe it's actually the one car indeed. Nicholas Isaac struggling right there, starting to lose a little bit of pace, and that was definitely one of the harder hits we've seen tonight.
He's just practicing the Hail Melon for later. I found out the other day in practice that the Hail Melon does work at Darlington, by the way.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you will get a protest.
I'm definitely not going to use it. May or may not have used it when I blew a right front at Richmond a few weeks ago, and that didn't go over so hot, so I'm going to stay away from that maneuver for a while.
Smart idea. I would have to
As
say,
you
my
see.
good sir.
Mullins take a dive down to the inside into 3 on the 5 of DeCiani, and Mullins going to make the pass pretty clean.
Keeping an eye here on that number 5 machine, and DeCiani's got a little bit of work to do. He's trying to close in on Randy Mullins. He's about a car length behind as he tries to close that gap. There you see the Fighting Irish machine of Randy Mullins trying to get around the lap car of Joshua Hyatt. And you see the Notre Dame Fighting Irish working his way around the circuit, trying to get around the Carolina Panther machine in the number 2.
Mullins been putting together a pretty decent run here this evening himself. I will say gold, man. It does look great under the lights here at Darlington.
It really does.
It's like a giant bar of gold on 4 wheels. And it's gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
I don't know, I might choke up myself. You know, I know how difficult finding the values for a spec map like that can be. And Randy Mullins has done it.
And he's going to continue to do it.
At least for another 100+ laps.
At least.
Knock on wood. I don't want to get Mullins a DNF here by accident. Through the field here. Paul Hill working himself up into the top 6 here. Sorry, the top 10, sitting in 6th place.
Paul Hill trying to do everything. Paul is trying to do everything he can to break further into the top 5 as he's trying to get around the lap car of Gallimore, who is currently 1 lap down, trying to at least stay 1 lap down.
Been pretty good here the last few weeks too. He's been really strong in A Open this week as well. That Dent Slayer Chevrolet. I just realized that his take a look at the roof name on Paul Hill's machine. Reads Diabito.
Oh my goodness. I don't even figure out what team he's representing over here, but don't know for sure.
I do know that him and Gulata work together, so we can go out on a limb here and assume CFM. See Sean Conklin ripping the fence here through 3 and 4, 10-second advantage now over Roger Pierce. As we have just reached halfway.
I gotta say, it's been incredible to see how this all plays out amongst our competitors, how clean they've been racing, how smooth everyone is, give and take, as, oh, there goes Sean Conklin tapping the wall once again.
Also, depending on how long this race lasts, you know, we started out ambient temp 79 degrees. Currently sitting at 78 degrees. And if this race continues on the track that it's going for, we're looking at a 5-degree sway in temperature down to 74, possibly 73. Depending on if we get cautions and it goes long. So this place is going to go through so many changes before this night's over.
It really is. So it's now just a matter of how you're going to play your games here as far as working your way around the competitors in this event. As we watch on, Sean Conklin continuing just picking them up, putting them down as we watch this battle further back between Randy Mullins and company, as Mullins is trying to make sure he can hold on here and be that lucky dog. He's got to catch up to both Brigoli and Joseph Kazi, who's also about to go a lap down.
That's crazy. Just how deep into the field he is cutting now. Joseph Kazi sitting in 9th place. Ready to lose a lap here. Conklin definitely out for blood this week from Darlington. I mean, he's been snubbed a few times in the past few weeks. Got snubbed last night in NIS. Got snubbed last week. Going out of his way here to get that momentum flowing here as we enter the last handful of races in the schedule.
Hard to believe we are after tonight, we'll be under 10 races left to go in the season.
Yep. ZLB Boaters Cup Series following the actual NIS schedule. Below trying to make a move here up into the fence, though, out of turn 4. First mistake we've seen out of the 77 Camry. Stuck into the dirty air of Patrick Gitter trying to get by for 3rd. Keegan really putting a charge on. You know, probably one of the guys with the least amount of laps in a car here this week, and he's sitting in 4th place behind heavy hitters like Patrick Gitter, Roger Pierce, and Sean Conklin. Now Sabila going to send it high up into turn 3. And going to take the spot with ease because Patrick Gitter realized he was falling off, came down pit road. He's going to take 4 tires.
Pit stops happening once again here for our competitors. Once again, as we're closing in on some of these drivers here to be making their way through, and hopefully nobody stretches it out like we saw from Chris David out there. Hopefully he can just find his way through and get him around the circuit here and come down at earlier time as we wait to see when your leaders will make their way down pit road.
Davis definitely shot himself in the foot sting out as long as he did. As you look back, you know, we were just looking at 2nd and 3rd. It was not too far back that we found Conklin, though. Sean Conklin hitting the start-finish line right now.
I would say we expect the driver of Sean Conklin in anywhere between the next 5 to 7 laps.
At this point, though, he's got such a strong control on this race. He can stay out as long as he really wants as Keegan Sabilo comes down to take 4 tires. Roger Pierce coming down pit road, my bad. The red and dark color throwing me off here. Look at this. These guys 20 seconds back from your race leader. 2nd and 3rd, you see Keegan Sabilo now come down pit road. You see, I like the position that Sean's in right now. If it stays green, you know, he can just keep staying out late on this tire because he's got all that gap that he can sacrifice. Come down pit road, throwing 4 tires late on a set, and just build that advantage longer and longer each run. If we stay green, I think he's going to lap the field.
He's going to come close to it, I have to say. He is about to put the driver of Pascalaqua and Reese Schaefer a lap down here pretty soon.
I think he will because I don't want to jinx him and say it. Next thing you know, a lap car bends it in front of him.
Yeah, we don't want that happening.
Because, you know, we've all been there. As we see Austin Edstrom now coming down pit road. Now, this moment, Sean Conklin is about to be the last guy on the lead lap if he doesn't pit. It's such an incredible run so far for that 10 machine.
It was not. Here he comes down pit road, so that will leave a total of at least 2 more drivers who have yet to pit, Pascalacqua and Schaefer. So we'll see who else can get back on the lead lap here as the drivers continue around the circuit. But I have a feeling if Sean Conklin continues with this run, as we will have ourselves a little battle for the race lead between Pascalacqua and Reese Schaefer as they try to work their way around the circuit. I have to say, though, they'll probably be coming down pit road here pretty quickly, given the fact of how long they've been out there. They've been out there running for 65, 62 laps. Yeah, we're going to expect them here in the next 3 or 4 as Conklin makes his way down into his pit box.
Yeah, these two both like to stay out pretty late, though. Get every drop out of the tank that they can. We saw Schaefer was the next to last car to come up pit road that last stint, and I feel like he's going to stay on that same strategy. Doing the math, it looks like... Yeah, doing the math here, it looks like that 97 machine could stay out till maybe 154 if he wanted to.
He could if he wanted to, but those tires are definitely not going to be a happy camper. He's going to be pulling basically what Chris David did, and that was not a good deal.
Race leader come down pit road. Brandon Pascalacqua waves up the flag. Going to come down and take 4 fresh tires. Hands the lead over to Reese Schaefer in the 97 machine.
Schaefer just going to continue to log some laps around the circuit here, try to stretch it out a little bit further as he wants to try to maintain the race lead, but we'll see what the gap is between himself and your former race leader. Currently keeping an eye to see where our former race leader of Sean Conklin is, currently P3. That's how much of a gap he is. He didn't lose hardly any position whatsoever as he's already trying to chase down Randy Mullins.
Yeah, he is 16 seconds back from your race leader. Not a lap down, 16 seconds. Impressive drive out of Sean Conklin in this race.
Absolutely, and we're curious to see how the rest of this will play out amongst him as he finds his way around some of the lap competitors. As we'll now back to 5 cars on the lead lap.
But with 137 laps on the board, filling the hands of Reese Schaefer for the time being, Conklin working his way back up to the front. We're going to send off to a quick word from our sponsors here, and we'll be back with more of the OB Builders Cup Series here on the grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Yeah, welcome back to the OB Builders Cup Series. Ryko 325 from Darlington, South Carolina. Reese Schaefer still up at the lead right now, opting to stay out as long as he possibly can on these tires. Sitting behind him is Randy Mullins doing the same thing, and Sean Conklin closing in fast, though, now 9 seconds separating him from your first two. It's definitely going to be a huge loss in time for Schaefer and Mullins on the short take. Going to be interesting to see if they can carve it off with the long run.
It's incredible to see how these competitors have been doing so well here tonight, and just watching how the cars have been able to handle under these conditions as we watch Joseph Kazi and Austin Edstrom work their way around the circuit. Edstrom moving up a couple of spots inside the top 8 for now, and currently the last car to be put a lap down here as he's trying to hold off Reese Schaefer, knowing he's got fresher tires than that 97 machine.
It's just crazy how smart and calculated these drivers have been since we dropped the green flag 145 laps ago. Not a single caution. Hell, I mean, I don't even think we've seen a single incident, period, so far, knock on wood. Last night in NIS, it felt like we couldn't walk 2 feet without stubbing our toes or stepping on a Lego, and here we are tonight. Majority of the same guys from last night out here running really strong, clean, good races, and I just wish we could see it all over the service. But I mean, that's just a testament, though, to the playground that these guys have built with the OB Builders Cup, with their regulations, their rule book, and their officiating. Because each one of these drivers knows that they have to come out here and run clean and run smart above anything else. And it has been one heck of a show. And, you know, just I believe 10 races left in the season. Man, it has been one heck of a ride being here from the start. Back in, I believe we first took to the track here in May.
Yeah, so pretty much they took basically this almost a little over 3/4 of the season and put on this great series together to showcase here. And I got to say, I look forward to seeing what they can do for 2026 and beyond, because we got some great racing coming up in 2026 with the NASCAR schedule. Of course, pretty much everything's the same, except we won't have Dover on the official schedule anymore by the looks of it. But
and to Darby's credit too, mentioning this has to be one of the top 5 highest SOF leagues, and I can pretty much promise you that. I don't think anything else even comes close to it here on the oval side of things. A couple other leagues that I may not have the knowledge of, but I just don't think anybody can do any better than these guys have done with the OB Builders Cup. And for 2026 and beyond, I'm hoping very, very much that we get to come back and do this again, because this has been a blast for us to cover. I know everybody up here in the booth has had a heck of a time with this series so far.
I have to say I agree with you on that, and look forward to seeing what 2026 will have here as we get set for the closing stages. Just under 100 laps to go as we watch the battle between, that is the driver of Joseph Kazi, along with the 8 machine of Ralph Hutchins for 11th position. These drivers are both 1 lap down, trying to catch up to Brandon Pascalacqua to get that lucky dog if the opportunity presents itself, as we have more drivers coming down pit road. Reese Schaefer down in the pit lane, giving the race lead back to Sean Conklin.
And Schaefer going to lose a whole bunch of time here. with this stop, but taking that gamble, it might work out for him. As you see Conklin now leading down the back straightaway, 11 seconds between him and his Victory One teammate, Roger Pierce. And Conklin getting ready to put another lap over Justin Levine here, who incident on pit road. Had to come back down, serve a penalty, really hampering his abilities here tonight.
Not a good points night for him indeed here, and I gotta say this is going to be a track that he's going to cross off, as we have big issues with some of our competitors. Wortman almost looped it around.
I think he tagged the wall there pretty hard, possibly a bent toe link on that machine. Looks like he's coming down pit road. Working through 1 and 2 now. The cars like to build a little tight here. No, just gets loose, comes down. It was Conklin that tagged the wall a little bit out of 2. Guess Wortman coming down for a pit stop here. Probably try to stay out late. With Conklin now running up against the fence through 3 and 4. It's been a while since we've seen a drive this dominant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're used to seeing Conklin up there at the front, a couple seconds ahead, man. We're not used to seeing 12 seconds over his teammate in the same stuff and 20 seconds over the rest of the field. Oh, Mullins just about lost it coming in 1 and 2 there behind Keegan Sabilo.
Got to be careful with that. He's got to not lose any more time, as Keegan Sabilo is now going to put some work on this and try to get around. As Randy Mullins, with those fresher tires, will get around him around the outside and make that pass complete. Of course, it's not a pass for position. Mullins is a lap down, but that just gives him a little extra oomph to try to chase down his competitors.
And Mullins charging pretty quick here, trying to get himself back on the lead lap to be competitive. Basically, what he's trying to do is unlap himself, then get himself worked up to, some of these guys that he just passed to unlap himself from. Taking a peek back, it's the same story for Reese Schaefer, sitting in 13th place, just a little bit behind Roger Pierce, your second place runner at the moment.
Schaefer,
on board with Schaefer through 3 and 4.
Schaefer, I'm kind of curious to see how well he can go here in this race with his setup, as far as also with taking care of his equipment that he's been doing here all day long. And that number 97, last time by, he was running pretty consistent lap times, a 29.7. Problem is, he is a lap down, but he can make his way further up the running order if he's given the chance, as he gets around Matt DiCiani. And I have to say, before the end of this fuel run, we could see him back up towards the front of the field. So let's see here. If we take a look at his fuel run of Reese Schaefer, he could go quite a ways here. We're currently...
I'm wondering if him staying out as long as he has, if he maybe saves a little bit of fuel in the process, if he's able to maybe cut one of those pit cycles out.
Yeah, he can make it on one stop. I think if he can stretch it to maybe about lap 190 to 200, or a little over 200, he can maybe just make it on that final stop and still have fresher tires. I don't know if he can be able to get a chance of beating Sean Conklin, but he could have a shot of a top 5 finish.
Yeah, he can definitely pencil himself in for a top 5, and he's going contrarian to what the rest of the guys are doing, so it's going to be interesting to see how that stacks up to the likes of Edstrom, Sabilo, and Gitter. Pierce, I think, might be a long shot, because Pierce has had so much pace this evening. As you see, Schaefer clear himself of Roger Pierce here through 3 and 4.
Greg Carr receiving a penalty, as he will have to come down and serve a drive-through there. We see him. And Chris Davis and Chris Hudson also take it behind the wall. So a total of 28 cars left on the track.
I'll tell you, it's been a dreadful night for Chris Hudson, that 43 machine. A lot of hopes coming into this race, but just something to miss somewhere in the chassis of that 43 Mustang. Patrick Gitter right now, third place, trying to hold off a hard-charging Keegan Sabilo in fourth. Right behind him, the Rocket Man, Austin Edstrom, sitting in fifth place. Great run for these three drivers up here.
Schaefer now
That's always
getting... Go ahead.
It's always just a good feeling, you know, to show up here to Darlington or one of these tracks. The most important thing is how you drive the car, and you've got yourself locked up into a nice top 10 so long as you just bring it home.
Well, so far, some of our competitors right here in this group, that's what they're trying to look for and get to the end of this race here. Great points night for some of our competitors as we watch Schaefer and Hutchinson battle. And Schaefer will break into the top 10.
Crazy. He's still a lap down. He's in the top 10.
It is, and he's coming up on Joseph Kazi to get around him for ninth, and he is making short work of that. He was about a tenth faster than Ralph Hutchinson, and then not about half a tenth off the driver of Joseph Kazi.
Well, he's got to be careful with Kazi. Kazi runs very safe here this week. Yeah, uncharacteristically. And definitely a joke. It's not like he went 3 wide with his teammates and wrecked about 16 cars last night, including the rest of his team. The old... It's interesting stuff for that bad, the 88 machine. But Reese Schaefer going to pass by on the outside line. Now trying to get himself up to the back of the 8th place runner of Paul Bergoli.
To put this in perspective, Schaefer is the fastest car on the track, except for Sean Conklin.
That was great for Schaefer, but that is just beyond impressive for Conklin. Does I see the difference in the tires here? Schaefer stayed out way longer than Conklin. Conklin is still beating his tail on pace right now.
Yeah. The lap difference here between our two competitors. It's 19 laps.
That's just beyond impressive. Conklin is absolutely locked in this week.
When is he not locked in? Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's always locked in, but just tonight, this is an entire different area code of pace out of that 10 machine.
As we go back up to the Rocket Man with Keegan Sabilo right there, those two are going to battle for a top 4 finish as they're trying to catch up to Patrick Gitter, as this is your final battle for the final step of the podium, and they are closing in on him. Edstrom looking to the inside of Sabilo to try to get around him. Not going to work. Sabilo shuts the door as Edstrom slots back in line. He's got the run. He's just got to fire off and get that to the bottom of the racetrack and try to slide off. But Sabilo sends it in a little bit deeper than Edstrom. Edstrom just trying to be a little smoother and consistent. Let the driver of Sabilo come into play.
Down to the inside, down the back straightaway again. Here comes Austin Edstrom into 3, down on the paint, into 3 and 4. A little bit of a diamond while Sabilo keeps it glued up there against the wall. The majority of the corner tags the fence a little bit down the front straightaway. Going to be a drag race down to turns 1 and 2, and Sabilo still bouncing off the wall into turn 1. Edstrom going to send it in deep, but not able to make it stick. Sabilo's going to be able to hold through the center of 1 and 2 and keep the momentum up down the back straightaway.
Great racing action amongst these two competitors as we see Edstrom doing everything he can. How about Paul Hill coming into the mix as well? We're about to have ourselves a 4-horse race for that final step of the podium here tonight as they come off at turn number 4. Hill with a big run trying to close up the gap and currently setting the pace amongst them was 0.2 faster than Edstrom.
If these two keep racing each other like this, they're going to stand to lose a whole lot of time. And Sabilo trying to do everything he can to hold on to that 4th place spot. And Edstrom now kind of mired in the dirty air. Tires got a little hot, trying to make the move on the inside through 1 and 2. Just maintaining right now as he tries to figure out what the next plan of attack is going to be on the 77 machine.
I think right now for Edstrom is just now settle in, see what you can do. You still got one more pit stop at the very minimum to set yourself up for a race to the finish here. Try to see if you can maybe think about undercutting Keegan here and get him and beat him down on pit road before he does.
Good run for Edstrom out of 2, but it's not going to be good enough as he just draws to the back bumper. The 77 machine gives him a little bit of a push into turn 3. Sabila going to try and stay on that outside line to hold him back down the front straightaway. It's going to work this time by at the line. And Paul Hill starting to chunk into the advantage of these two. Turn 2, a little bit of a bobble for Sabilo. That opens the door for Edstrom to get back up to the bumper again into 3. Edstrom going to back up early to try and prioritize the drive off. Now, Edstrom trying to send around the outside line and get the drive down the straightaway. But Sabilo's going to try and throw a little bit of aero block down the front stretch. Up into the wall goes Sabilo again. And down to the inside. Here comes Austin Edstrom with a huge head of steam into 1 and 2. Side by side through 1 and 2. Sabilo's going to keep it on the outside line again and just hold him up. And Sabilo's going to get the drive down the back straightaway again this time.
Sabilo just gets that much better run off corner exit right now than Edstrom. Edstrom's got it on corner entry where you see him gaining, but right there off that corner exit, Sabilo just able to hold on and maintain the gap here. He'll stretch it out to about a car length, but here comes Edstrom with another head of steam. He'll try to go around the outside, but Sabilo just aero blocking that car where that car just not able to stick to where it needs to. And Edstrom is struggling.
Again for Sabilo. Edstrom packs her to the rear spoiler of the 77 Toyota, and just about around goes Sabilo out of turn 2. Now Edstrom going to send it down to the bottom into 3, and he's going to try for the slide shot. Sabilo knocks down the fence, and Edstrom's going to pull the slider and take the spot away.
Beautiful pass right there from the driver of Austin Edstrom to just wait for the mistake to come from Sabilo and take over the race lead here in the closing stages.
The race fourth. But it might as well be for the lead. That was some pretty exciting racing as Gitter attacks the fence out of turn 2 into the Boeing backstretch. It's not going to hurt him too much, though.
He still maintains about a 0.7 of a second lead right now over Edstrom, who is coming down. And here he comes across the line as we pick up Roger Pierce, who's just out for his Thursday night drive.
Roger put together a really good performance to ride on board, looking at the beer can bandit himself. Down to 3 and 4. 17 seconds back from Sean Conklin, but man, the second place run here at Darlington is definitely the shot in the arm that this 27 machine needed this week. And looks like he's consistently locked into this position so long as he can just bring it around through another pit stop.
That's going to be the key, how well you come down on pit road. We saw, I've lost track of how many penalties we've saw on pit road here tonight, but it's been more than the usual here. So these drivers have got to take it easy and be careful.
I will say the speeding off of pit road, we don't see it as often these days as we used to, but this week it feels like it bites you a little quicker. I had one earlier this week, and it feels like the way that the gearing is for this track specifically, it just feels like second gear bucks a lot more than what we're used to at, say, some of the other tracks. It is way easier to accidentally tiptoe past the threshold where you need to be.
Randy Mullen's still trying to work his way around the circuit. He's got pressure from Josh Schaffner behind him. This is a battle for 13th position between the two of them, as they will try to work their way around the circuit. Schaffner trying to close in. Last time by, Schaffner, not the pace that he's looking for right now. He's got to have a little bit extra oomph in order to try and chase down Randy Mullins.
Bozzy holding on to a strong 9th place run right now in the 88 machine. Just behind Reese Schaefer, who's moved himself up into 8th place here on this run and unlapped himself as well. 29 seconds, or sorry, that's the lap time I'm looking at, not the distance. But Schaefer just putting together a good run as we look at one of the most beautiful paint schemes on the night there in front of him. Lou Christian, big bobble out of turn 2, but keeping it in the right direction. Not the night Lou was looking for, but hey, paint looks good.
Certainly is, as he tries to get around the Dallas Cowboy machine of Jose Medina, who's having a decent run, surprisingly, with the top 20. John Binder coming down pit road by the looks of it.
24 machine up into the fence there through 3 and 4.
Oh,
and
Schaefer in the wall.
trying to find a way by Lou Christian. Lou Christian going to get out of the way here and let the 97 machine run with it, but Schaefer tags the fence a little bit out of turn 4, trying to figure out which lane to take. There's a lot happened there in front of him through 3 and 4. And Matt DiCiani going to be the first one on this stint to come down pit road in the 5 machine. He's on.
Good call. Let's see how this all plays out for him here in the final stages, which should be his last pit stop, or if not his second to last pit stop.
Question is, when's Sean Conklin going to answer the call? As you see, he's gotten by the 19 machine of Levine.
Levine trying to fight back with him to get back one of his laps, as we know, as Keegan Sabilo, pit road penalty, speeding into entry of pit road. A heartbreak situation for him, as he will now have to serve that penalty.
Tough break for Keegan after running such a great, clean race. Going to lose a lot of time here on pit road. But it's better that he gets it on entry as opposed to any kind of penalty on exit. So doesn't have to come back down pit road and serve another penalty. As we see the 87 machine of Edstrom dive it down pit road here.
Clean stop for him as he's got to make it into his box as we wait for the last few drivers. But Patrick Gitter coming around the circuit. Paul Gallimore takes it behind the wall. His night is done as well. Schaefer currently P5, 1 lap down. He can stretch it for another 30 laps at least, if he so chooses.
I mean, if you're Schaefer at this point, you might as well just stick with the plan and see if it works out. But 187 laps of this race knocked off without incident. Just remarkable performance here for the drivers of the OB Builders Cup, as we see Conklin and Levine still bumper to bumper here through 3 and 4.
Got to keep... Ooh, Conklin into the wall a little bit. This could open the door for Justin Levine to get back around the inside and get one of his 3 laps back, as they will drag race, and Levine will concede for the time being.
Levine not trying to press the issue too much into turns 1 and 2. Know how difficult it is to get through there solo.
And for the update on Keegan Sabilo, he is now 3 laps down due to the fact of that penalty. So it's going to be night over for a top 5 finish for him.
Yeah. Unless something crazy happens here. I mean, taking another peek to the bottom through 3 and 4.
As Paul Bergoli and Nicholas Isaac come down pit road.
About half of the field is probably holding their breath right now as these two are racing against each other after the incidents that took place last night in NIS. Levine going to roll out of the way, though. Sees the 8 machine coming on fresh tires. Going to let him take the position to get an opportunity to unlap himself.
And yes,
car being piloted by Ralph Hutchison, sitting in 13th place.
Yeah, he's going to try to get one of his laps back here. That will at least get him 2 laps down. And yeah, we do have certified grade A grid vision beef, as Roger Pierce will come down pit road and Sean Conklin will finally lap the entire field with 190 laps complete.
I'm trying to stay out late here as you see Levine gets right back to the back bumper of the 10 machine here. I'm hoping it don't get chaotic between these two tonight. There's no reason for it anyway.
I'd have to agree with you on that. No reason whatsoever. Time to let that stuff pass. Happened yesterday. Be gone and done with. Still got quite a bit of racing left to go here in the 2025 season for both the OB Builders Cup Series and the NIS Series.
Yeah, like last night, you know, two guys were going for a win. Tonight, one's going for a win. The other one's a couple laps down.
Don't push the envelope.
Absolutely not. As you see the 27 machine of Roger Pierce leaving pit road here, trying to reattach himself to the field. Currently scored 2 laps down. We're so get one of those back as Sean Conklin realizes probably a good time to come down pit road, as he's probably sick of seeing grid vision orange all over his mirror.
And here comes Schaefer.
Yep, he's going to put Schaefer back on the lead lap. And I do not think that Schaefer... Well, yeah, Schaefer's probably going to stay out until the roosters crow on this run.
He's got about 20 more laps before he would need to surface and come down pit road.
It was been a unique strategy, but it's been working out here for this nice 7 machine.
And with that, that will put at least the top 8 back on pit road, or back on the lead lap here after the pit cycle. Joseph Kazi moving up to P3 as Sean Conklin will rejoin the race circuit just only, let's say 2.5 seconds behind the race leader.
Yeah, Schaefer's not really going to make much off of this deal. I remember last time he came down, he was 9 seconds ahead when he came down pit road. This time, just 2.5 seconds. Shows how much time he's losing staying out late. It also shows just how dominant that 10 machine has been all night long.
Absolutely, and now there you see them both on screen, and Conklin's going to make short work of this here with Reese Schaefer, and if I was Schaefer now, I would try to come down pit road sooner.
See Keegan Sabilo to the outside. No, Sabilo's loose on the front straightaway, chases it all the way down to the apron and hard into the inside wall.
Keep it below the racing line. We don't want to go yellow just yet as he tries to hold it, and he will take the tow.
Yeah.
Tough break for Keegan.
Tell you what, ran such a great race to start half of this thing. And you got to know that when you make a mistake on pit road like that, you got a driver behind the wheel that's hungry, trying extra things to try and get just a little bit back of what he lost. And unfortunately, it all comes back and takes him along with it for Keegan Sabilo. But a class act for that 77 driver to keep that thing below the racing surface to keep us from getting a caution. Because I know a lot of people would have absolutely jumped at the fact that you yank the wheel to the right and send it.
And while that was all happening, Sean Conklin has caught and passed Reese Schaefer. So he is back up at the front of the field. Schaefer now just going to see how long he can stretch it. He's got about a 4-second advantage over Joseph Kazi. Randy Mullins, also both of those two need to pit. So Roger Pierce, if things go according to plan, will retain the 2nd position.
Mullins down pit road early. 54 machine. He's been halfway doing the same strategy that Schaefer has tonight. Pushing it a little bit longer than your leaders, but not as ludicrously long. But with 198 laps on the board here, we're going to send off to another quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be back to bring you the rest of the racing action here on Grid Vision. Edstrom heavy damage to the right front of the 87 machine. See what happened here.
Oh,
a little bit of help from Patrick Gitter in the center 3 and 4. And Edstrom head on into the fence. I don't know how that wasn't a caution.
That should have been a caution for sure.
Tough break. And 2 big hits for the Sabila Esports machines in the closing laps. Get another look at it. Hang on, we'll take another closer look at it because also was a little high there into the corner. Wonder if maybe tag the fence bounced a little bit and Gitter got into him.
By the looks of it, right there, he gets a little high, and then
they were definitely close.
yeah.
Maybe a little bit of 3 wide going on there.
Here's a little bit of an earlier run. So
maybe
he taps the wall off turn 2. Gitter sends it down to the bottom, and Gitter just washes up the track.
Yeah, Gitter sent it in, sent a little too deep. Car loses the front rotation, and unfortunately, Edstrom was the cushion between Gitter and the wall, as we see Joseph Causey on pit road there in the 88 DeWalt Tools Camry. But now Conklin up to a 5-second advantage over second place Reese Schaefer, 201 laps down. And now we'll send you a quick word from our sponsors and bring you the rest of the racing action here on the grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the OB Builders Cup Ryco 325 here on Grid Vision. Sean Conklin, your race leader, over Reese Schaefer by 10 seconds. 9 seconds back from Reese Schaefer is Roger Pierce in third place with Patrick Gitter in fourth. And sitting rounding out the top 5 is the 26 machine of Paul Hill with Brandon Pasalasqua, Ralph Hutchison, Justin Levine, Nicholas Isaacs, and Paul Bergoli running at your top 10.
Great racing action here in the closing stages of today's action as Reese Schaefer just falling further and further behind into the clutches of Roger Pierce. Patrick Gitter and Paul Hill having a good spirited battle for the 4th position as we'll keep an eye on that as Paul Hill is coming. He's going to try to set up for a pass here as he looks to get around him for position. I got to say, with that contact that we saw from Gitter and the driver of Austin Edstrom, that is going to probably cause some problems for the handling of that 21 car because he has been beaten around quite a bit since the start of today's race.
Yeah, but you know, what could have been a dire situation for Paul Hill on lap 1 has turned into a respectable finish. And Patrick Gitter starting on the pole, gets loose underneath Sean Conklin. Both cars get stuffed up into the fence. And currently Patrick Gitter sitting fourth, Sean Conklin sitting in the lead. Both of these guys, you know, what could have been a daybreaker to start the night off, not a problem at all. As
No,
they both
not-
recovered to great positions. Although you are going to watch the fourth place car go a lap down here because Sean Conklin's gotten to the back bumper of Paul Hill and Patrick Gitter. As you see, Paul Hill going to send it around the outside line through 3 and 4, trying to leave Patrick Gitter as the odd one out to go down a lap first.
Absolutely. He's going to try to make the run down across the front straightaway heading into turn 1. He's got that outside momentum to his favor.
No,
There's the
Paul Hill
contact.
right in front of your leader.
And Gitter's going to shut the door right in front of Sean Conklin again as they head down the back straightaway. Conklin's got to be a little bit careful. How will Patrick Gitter work with him here in these closing laps as Conklin goes to the outside to try to do the same pass that Paul Hill does, and Gitter will concede, giving him that positioning. And now we have a little bit of a moment to catch your breaths.
I will say the skid marks that you just saw there through 1 and 2 were not from the cars. It was probably from Conklin. That heart rate's got to be through the roof right now after having those two just about take the most dominant performance we've seen all season, aside from, I say, North Wilkesboro, away from the 10 machine. You look out the back glass of Paul Hill's machine. Conklin all the way up against the fence here through 3 and 4, trying to build that momentum, trying to get a little bit of clean air. Doesn't want to lose a whole lot of time. You know, Reese Schaefer's on old stuff, but any tenth of a second that you lose is one that you wish that you still had at the end of these things.
Not only that, but also just how well those tires are going to be falling off further and further down the line if you're not careful. As we watch Reese Schaefer, and it's currently about 3 seconds ahead of Roger Pierce, who is trying to close in on him, as we see Sean Conklin getting around the driver of Paul Hill, and it's still going to be a tough fight between the two of them.
Paul Hill going to concede the spot here in turn 1, I'd imagine.
Does.
Yes, he does. Sends it down under the apron, lets him go. Doesn't want to take this thing away from Conklin. Leaves 3 cars on the lead lap now. That's Roger Pierce, 19 seconds back, and Reese Schaefer, 17 seconds back. And how the actual hell is Justin Levine in 11th place tonight after the night he's had?
He found a way. That's all I can say for sure, and he is definitely showcasing that. I'm checking to see, does he need to make another pit stop here before this is all said and done? Yeah, he does. He's going to need to make one more stop. I think he's on the Reese Schaefer strategy, I would have to say.
A few of these guys still have an extra stop to make, though, don't they?
No, for the most part here. See, we are... I have to say, we're cutting it pretty close. For the drivers of Sean Conklin, it was 23 laps ago.
Okay. Yeah, Conklin's absolutely good. I mean, Conklin could probably crawl from here to the start-finish line.
And still be okay.
And still be all right. And that's no slight to Roger Pierce, too. Pierce has put together a great performance tonight. But Conklin has just been in a realm of his own tonight. Definitely a pro-caliber drive from the get behind the wheel of the 10 machine.
Yeah, well, everybody's here racing in Darlington. Sean Conklin's out at Myrtle Beach, pretty much. That's how far of a gap he has.
You look at Paul Hill down to the inside of the 2 machine of Hyatt here. That currently is your first car lap down. If anything were to happen, if we were to get a wreck or a caution, that would be the lucky dog you're looking at there in the 26 machine. The rest of these guys would be prompted to wave around on old tires if they want to get a lap back.
So that's going to be the question. If a caution does come out, do you want to risk it and come and get a wave around on old tires?
I'd rather be the first guy on worn-out tires at the tail end of the lead lap than be stuck a lap down in the closing stages, because we're about to be 20 laps to go here. Look at it in all of its glory.
As it gets a little paint scratch right there as it comes off of turn 2.
To the inside on Paul Bergoli here comes Sean Conklin, taking another lap away from the driver of the 12 machine.
20 laps to go for Sean Conklin as he continues on this dominant charge, heading down the back straightaway. 20 seconds ahead of Roger Pierce, his teammate in second place, as he did get around Reese Schaefer. Schaefer still has to make one more stop. As for Pierce, he's just going to keep plugging away in the closing laps.
The Conklin diving down to the inside of Levine to put him another lap down. Pierce holding on strong there in second place. Right now, not a whole lot going on here on the track. Everybody just kind of in a lane of their own. You know, a lot of no man's land situations. Majority of the field, any of the guys that are close to each other, genuinely on a separate lap from the guy in front of them or behind them. Look at Regoli getting ready to try and make moves on the 19 of Justin Levine. I think that is the only... Well, Levine's going to come down pit road here, take his last set of tires and fuel.
Looking on to see if we have any other battles for position. We got one with Nicholas Isaac and Randy Mullins that we could watch around 9th position. And then also Justin Levine's on pit road, so that's not going to be a battle for position for any time soon. It's working his way through. Reese Schaefer is trying to get around Joseph Kazi, put him a lap, or make sure he stays a lap down.
Schaefer should be coming in here in the next lap or so. He's definitely stretched this out as far as I think he can make it. I say, you know, only being 4 seconds back from Pierce on that significant stint on tires, not a bad spot there for Schaefer.
No, not a bad spot at all, but he's got to come down pit road here pretty soon. I mean,
oh, yeah.
I would say in the next 4 laps.
Oh, no, it might be too late for him, though, at the same time. So I don't see much recovery. I mean, we're getting down to 10 laps to go. He comes down pit road here with all that time that he's lost by staying out. That also poses the question, too, was everybody racing to the tires or the fuel?
Well, we'll see how much farther Reese Schaefer can stretch it out here around the circuit as we watched Paul Hill, as he's looking for a chance of a podium finish here tonight.
A quiet night here for the 26 machine of Paul Hill. Aside from that big slide we saw earlier, not really a whole lot happening to him. Bergoli and Christian behind him. Sorry, Gitter. Gitter going to work himself past the 12 machine of Bergoli. Now Schaefer about to lose a lap here. He stays out much longer to Sean Conklin, because Conklin has entered the same set of corners as him. There's Schaefer, and right there in tow, the race leader, Sean Conklin.
And soon there will be only 2 left on the lead lap as we come to 10 laps to go here in today's action at the Lady in Black, the Beast of the Southeast, Darlington Raceway. As here comes Schaefer. Definitely going to be a splash and go. There's no point really coming down and getting 4 tires and fuel.
Yeah, maybe 2, possibly, depending. Never know. I get nervous about the thought of leaving pit road with just 800 lap old tires anytime. Look at the 33 machine to Chris Vincent. Quite a night for him. And Joseph Causey, 6th place here this evening. Great run. The driver of the DeWalt Tools Camry. Also can confirm Reese Schaefer just sent down pit road, gassed up, and went.
And Schaefer will drop all the way back to 13th with that pit stop.
It was a gamble, but it's a gamble for a reason. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Tonight doesn't look like it's going to work for Reese Schaefer. But no need to gamble up here at the front, though. Sean Conklin, 20 seconds ahead of Roger Pierce. And Roger Pierce, the only car that could conceivably catch him in any way, which I don't think is going to happen.
Pierce is trying to do everything he can here to make sure at least he stays on the lead lap, I would have to say, in these final few laps.
He's got to worry about it, though. I don't think he's going to lose 6 seconds in 7 laps. Unless he makes a huge mistake. Roger Pierce pretty much locked into being the last car on the lead lap here in 2nd place. It's been a really good, quiet, but good run from him this evening. Took 2nd place on that first stint and just never let go.
Looks like Ralph Hutchinson was able to get around Randy Mullins and Nicholas Isaac as well, moving him up to P7. Matt DiCianni back on the run as he tries to get around the driver of Reese Schaefer.
So Isaac's putting together a really strong performance here in the one machine. Haven't talked about him much this evening, but sitting there in 8th spot after 235 grueling laps here from Darlington is no small feat at all, especially in a field as strong as this. Isaac's, I mean, that's one of those guys that I have circled as somebody that could potentially come out here and start, whooping tail if he just gets the cars set right and gets the track position, has a good, strong, clean race. I mean, Isaac has been really good since he first showed up here in the OB Builders Cup Series this season.
Oh, go ahead.
Mullins holding on to a 9th place performance here tonight on a contrarian strategy, kind of like Reese Schaefer, but working out a little bit more on the positive end for the 54 machine. And as the bar of gold comes across the start-finish line here with 5 laps to go. Make that 4 laps to go. Sean Conklin leads us across the line. I just cannot believe the dominance that this 10 machine has had. I don't think I've seen a car this fast at Darlington in years. And Byron definitely patting himself on the back after this one, because Ryko has certainly put together a fast hot rod for the always capable Sean Conklin.
I mean, all I got to say is this here is a superstar in the making in the world of eNASCAR competition and even in real world. I mean, I know he races only in karting right now with the Champ Kart buggies, but he knows, I have a feeling here pretty soon we will be seeing this young guy racing in late models, modifieds, and working his way up the NASCAR ranking before it's all said and done. He is just that good.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see where we see that name pop up in the next handful of years. But next handful of years don't matter just yet, because coming out of turn 4, we know what we're talking about him being tonight, and that's leading to the white flag. Sean Conklin just got to get around here. 2 sets of corners, but 2 of the most diverse and grueling sets of corners in the NASCAR circuit. He's made it around here all night. See if he can get it done one more time. down the Boeing back straightaway. And nobody has been this dominant in this league all season as this 10 machine is Sean Conklin through 3 and 4 for the final time. And out of turn 4 up to the start finish line to make it complete and to make it final. Sean Conklin is going to win here at Darlington for the Ryco 325. Wait on second place, roll across the line, but 21 seconds back. Working himself through 3 and 4 for the final time. Roger Pierce going to get the job done and make it a Ryco 1-2, a victory 1-1-2 to finish out the deal here at Darlington.
Wow. All I can just say, wow.
Not a single caution, a couple small incidents, but they kept it green. Everybody raced classy and respectful tonight. And thank God, because we would have been here for a while if it had turned into a chaos fest.
Absolutely.
But pinned up against the wall here, Sean Conklin going to burn it down for the virtual South Carolina crowd. And probably going to go pass out as soon as he's done, because wheeling a car for 240 laps green at Darlington is a task that I wouldn't even want to do, man. How about you, Taylor?
I mean, all I got to say is it was an incredible race from start to finish. Drivers being patient, taking care of their equipment, and here we see some of them coming home with a strong finish, some of them wishing that certain things did not happen. But for one of Sean Conklin, it's just another day of the office.
As we get a look at the results here from the office this week, it's going to be Sean Conklin bringing it home with the big win, followed by Roger Pierce in second. Third goes to Paul Hill with Patrick Gitter in fourth. Fifth place is going to be Brandon Pasalaco with Joseph Causey, Ralph Hutchison, Nicholas Isaacs, Randy Mullins, and Josh Schaffner bringing up the top 10.
In 11th position will be Paul Bergoli, followed by Reese Schaefer, Matt DiCiani in 13th, Chris Vinson and Justin Levine round out your top 15, John Bender, Thomas O'Hara, Jose Medina, Chad Kibbe, and Joshua Hyatt round out your top 20.
And bringing her home 21st place in the evening is going to be Lou Christian and Darby, and I think your favorite paint scheme of the night. 22nd is going to be Alexander Carr with Austin Edstrom, Keegan Sabilo, Joseph Gulana, Paul Gallimore, Greg Carr, Tim Wortman Jr., Chris Davis, and Chris Hudson rounding out your top 30. Bringing home 31st is going to be Adam Benefit with Chris Crosby, Daniel Wiles, Bryce Rayner, Jeffrey Taylor, and Richard Kleiman running out the 36 car field. As we get ready to wind it down, got Sean Conklin doing a victory lap here around the Darlington Speedway. There's a big burnout and just such a dominating performance as he goes for round 2. He's going to make sure that those back tires are completely off the car. I guess trying to make it through tech. Waiting right now for some of the drivers to pull themselves up to the waiting room so as we can pull them up for an interview. And Taylor, man, just tell me, how do you feel about the race tonight? Because that was incredible.
I mean, it was absolutely incredible. Not a single caution, a little bit of chaotic moments there, but we saw drivers just really letting the Lady in Black dance with them tonight and put on a stellar drive from start to finish.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to sit down here and take a quick word with our third place finisher on the evening, Paul Hill in the Adent Slayer Chevrolet, and a great run from you tonight, man. First off, tell me, how tired are you after 240 laps of Darlington under green?
And that was worse than 2 men in the 24 hours. That was exhausting. That was brutal, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, definitely with as abrasive as this place is, I'm sure the wrists are not feeling too well, but made a good run of it. First car a lap down, so if we had a caution, you would have been the lucky dog. But just tell me, man, what do you think you need there to just get a little bit better of a finish, if at all possible?
Qualifying better, so I didn't have to work with the field as much. It's definitely a weak spot for me every week, no matter what track it is. I'm just not a very good qualifier. So I started, mid-pack there and had to kind of mosey through people carefully, and you don't want to wreck nobody. And it just, a race that goes green this long, I mean, your starting position can greatly help you out through the pit cycles. So That's on me. Could have qualified a little bit better, maybe got second there, but it was a lot of fun. I had an absolute blast. I mean, 240 laps here. I mean, I don't think I've seen longer than a 40 lap run in A Opens this week, so I can't really complain.
Yeah, it's like we got all the green flag runs here tonight that we haven't been able to get all week. It's kind of crazy, but with none of the cautions. After last night, though, in NIS, with all the sparks and, tempers we saw all the way throughout the field, were you expecting it to go green this long?
In this league, yes. I will say that about OB. You can come into this league at any point in time, and as long as you're a respectful driver, you can expect everyone else to give that give and take for the most part. And you rarely see cautions, honestly, at anything besides a super speedway. At least none unwarranted, we should say.
Well, after a strong podium finish here tonight and a deep claw through the field, who all do you want to thank and shout out for this performance?
I want to thank Joseph Galata again. Setups always top notch. CFM Performance. You guys up in the booth. You guys always do a phenomenal job. And Dit Slayer for the tools that I use day to day, doing my real job out there. Touching grass.
Wait, people do that still?
Nah, sometimes.
Touch grass? How many do that after this? This was a long haul. Anyway, thanks for popping up here in the booth and talking to us. I'm going to hand it on over to Taylor Burris with our second place finisher, Roger Pierce.
Here with Roger Pierce, who joins us up here in the booth. Roger, I got to say, it's been a little bit of an interesting day for you as well out there in your machine as you try to negotiate the chaos and the traffic, but still manage with a strong top 2 finish.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really complain too much. I mean, I finished on the lead lap, so that's a win.
Absolutely. We still got quite a bit of racing left to go here for the rest of the season. How confident do you feel with taking in that information that you were able to learn from here tonight and progress further into this championship run?
Well, honestly, it feels like if I'm not finishing in the top 10, I'm getting wrecked. Right? I'm just having bad luck. So tonight was kind of a nice night, nice points night, just to get myself back in. I just want to finish top 10 after missing the first 6 races. Getting wrecked out of like the last 8 or so. So, being 15th in points, it's kind of what I'm worried about. Just team points and best finish for myself. I mean, we learned a lot tonight. The track's not different. Obviously, it's signs are different, so lift points are different. The car is different. The car is completely different from the last time we came here. You could be shallow on entry to 1. You could be higher at entry to 1 and you're not going to lose speed. I mean, there's so many different tips and tricks that we all know here, but you kind of had to relearn the track this week, which was really interesting.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah. I mean, first off, we got told that to be scared for this week, and I gotta say, finishing 2 cars is on the lead lap. I'm pretty sure that we weren't scared.
Neat.
Like to thank Ken for the paint scheme. Heavy heart today. Lost my pap yesterday. So Ken put in loving memory of pap on the passenger door. So it was really fun to drive this car and get it to P2. So thanks to all the Reiko Victory 1 boys. Greatly appreciate it. I mean, this thing was a rocket. And then thank you guys for putting on the broadcast and OB for putting on a great league. I mean, how many times can you say you've seen flag to flag Darlington 200 plus laps? I think that's a first for me. That's crazy.
I have to agree with you on that one. That is, of course, the driver of Roger Pierce coming home P2.
Now sitting with the man, the myth, the legend. I feel like I say it every week. But the dominator here from Darlington, Sean Conklin. Man, first off, congratulations on that run, dude. That was insane. I don't think I've ever seen anybody put all but 2 cars a lap down at Darlington, or all but 1 car a lap down at Darlington. And the question's going to be, though, man, how are you feeling after 240 laps green, and were you expecting 240 green?
Not at all. I mean, not even in the slightest. I mean, we've had upwards of 18 cautions, like, per A Open race. That's only 120 laps, so it's been quite the caution-filled week, and to go flag to flag here is honestly quite crazy and very refreshing. I mean, that was fun. I can't say that I'm not tired after that one, so excuse my uh my my tired voice, but yeah, that was great. I mean, that was just fantastic to go like four runs, 3 green flag pit stops, and just trying to nail each and every single one of them was it's just fun, when you can go out there and do that kind of stuff and really show what the cars got. You look at the results in these A Opens and you don't really know who's got what because of all the cautions and half the field's wrecked out. So this, where it goes flag to flag, and there's only a couple cars, that have like mechanical issues, or if they break something, hit the wall, and then have to go in. Only a few cars are out of the race, so you got majority of the field showing what they got, and I love that type of racing, and that's what this league is known for, and I hope there's more of that in the future.
The big performance tonight, and obviously stretching out the points advantage over Justin Levine in second. After he had a couple issues in the race. How you feeling about the potential of bringing home the hardware at the end of the season? Because we're getting close to crunch time.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Looking forward to that. Yeah, it's nearing the end of the season already. It just felt like we were back in Kansas 2 weeks ago, and I'm just starting the season off. But yeah, it's been a great ride. We've gone through multiple different paint schemes, so we'll see what we end up with a paint scheme at the end of the year. But yeah, just been a great year. Hoping to close it out. Just need some more solid races like this, and we'll be on our way to that trophy.
So do you feel a little bit, because I'm not going to say that you've gone through a slump, but you've gone through a mid-season cycle of bad luck the past handful of weeks, whether it be in NIS or here in OB Builders Cup. Do you think that you finally got that monkey off your back? Because this is the most perfect race I've seen you run from start to finish since I've been covering you last season.
Yeah, I hope so. This was definitely a good race to iron that out and see what we could do. But yeah, definitely the last few weeks have been all right. Last few OB Builders races, we had that one win at the road course, and then the 2 short tracks in between didn't really go too great. It's just I couldn't really find the pace until Friday, which was funny. I really found out what to do with the track on Friday, and then after that I really had the track figured out, and by then all the races are over, including this one. So yeah, those 2 short track weeks I struggled a little bit. Gonna try to we're taking a different approach to short tracks now, or at least I am, and I think it's going to help me in the future. So, yeah, I will be excited for that whenever we go to our next one. And yeah, I'm really hoping that we can get our momentum back going and get a win streak going here.
So going into Gateway next week, how you feeling with the reshape of fundamentals on these short tracks?
I'm feeling all right. Gateway hasn't been a good track for me, but we haven't been there since last year, so definitely gonna put in the practice and everything that's required, try to get good there. And we don't really have to go for gold. I mean, if we could settle for just a solid race, top 5, top 3, I mean, that's fine. It's definitely not one of my best tracks, but we're gonna give it all we got.
Well, Sean, with the dominating performance tonight, who all do you want to thank and shout out for leading nearly flag to flag this evening?
Just everybody on the car, Randy Bell Construction, Victory One, Gossett Bus Lines, Best One Tire, and just, again, all the guys at Ryco for the countless amount of stints to make this car good and where we want it. Just keep doing it every single week, and we're going to get the results like this, and very proud that we were able to show all that hard work during the week here tonight.
Well, thanks for stepping up here and talking to us this evening, Sean, and trying to burn down too much.
Thank you.
And Taylor, you got any final thoughts here on the evening, brother? Well, it looks like Taylor has run out of final thoughts, but I will say this has been an incredible race to cover. I mean, 240 laps green at Darlington is miraculous after everything we've seen this season. And, man, I'm kind of getting a little bummed out knowing that we're getting close to the checkered flag here in about 9 weeks. But from the entire Grid Vision team, we'd like to thank you for watching and participating in the chat. For more information on getting your league broadcasted or starting your career in broadcasting, contact us on Facebook, X, or email us at info@gridvision.live. Special thanks to Andrew Cardinal IV of Whiplash Sim Cams, providing the cams used on today's broadcast. And congratulations once again to Sean Conklin for another stellar drive here from Darlington Speedway. This has been Sheldon Atkins, and I've been joined in the booth by Taylor Burris and our fearless producer, Austin Derbyshire, and Karen Derbyshire doing all the work behind the scenes that Austin doesn't want to do. And we will see you next time on the grid.